Hey Eric, since we couldn't meet up live, I figured I'd try to do this via video. I don't know if I ever talked to you about Crested Butte. It's probably my favorite place on the planet. Mount Crested Butte is the resort. Crested Butte is an old Victorian mining town, and CB South is sort of a little town, I think about 7 minutes south, where I could afford to buy something. There's my plot in pink. It backs up to, I think, National Forest Service land. Here it is from where the driveway would be. Here's the realtor. You can see the house in the background. They didn't dig in at all. They built on pillars. And they have access from the court above. I would have access from the road below. This is a view looking west from the top of the plot. This is a view looking south from the plot. Here it is in the neighborhood. You can see the plot. It looks flat in this picture, but it certainly isn't. The first model I built before I was going to come see you, I excavated in my head along the northwest property line. The next one I decided to do kind of diagonally, but let's get to that later. Here's this cardboard model I was going to bring to you. You can see they're kind of in line. Each of the excavation levels. The bottom level would be a garage, and then there'd be two excavated levels. Here's a picture of a garage I found in Sun Valley that I kind of took as inspiration. I'd sort of envisioned each story being maybe 15 degrees offset from the one below it, more eastward. But then after I built the first cardboard model, I really liked the look of all of them being in line. I wanted to get more sun, more exposure. So here's the first level of excavation, which would all be garage. And then the color coding here, green is outdoors and blue is indoors. So on this one, green is an outdoor deck with a half-size tennis court. Blue is indoors and underground, basically. And then this is the first livable level. And then this is the next level, smaller. Each one's going to get successively smaller because the back corner, you can't go that way. And then anything from there up would be above ground. This next model is a larger scale, and it's only the area in this red rectangle. The rest is not visible. The entire plot of the second version, second iteration. In this version, I decided to go diagonally through the plot. So that's the back corner, the front corner here, and this is the property line over here. Matter of fact, this edge, and this edge are the outer property lines, and it continues this way and this way, this way and this way. I rotated the initial version. I had the excavation paralleling this line. In this version, I have it pointing more south, trying to get more sun. So this is an estimation of what it would look like with morning sun. And then this would be evening sun. Let's see. So the concept here was that I excavate out sort of diagonally through across the corners in a line that kind of bisects the two opposite corners of the plot. And then each story, this is actually two stories. This would be the garage plus one living level, right? And then each additional story would be offset a certain number of degrees, with the ideal being that south facing is obviously ideal, but this is as close as I can get. My biggest problem here is this area right here. I'd love to do a living roof, but it's basically over this living area. You can see how inside there, let's see. I'd like to make an exit here to Louisa Court, just a doorway that exits out. My property comes to a point right here, so I don't actually have legal access, but I think just a doorway and a walkway there wouldn't be a big deal. I don't even know if I'd have to ask for that, ask for permission. I had made because it's going to be potentially enough stories, I'd made two possible concepts for elevator shafts. Here and here, I would not install elevators. I couldn't afford elevators, but at some point in the future, if I have a shaft, they could just be converted to an elevator much more easily, and they can just be made into closets until then. However, the more I think about it, in my next iteration now, I think it might be best to have an elevator shaft that's in the middle, that goes through all the floors, and then has plumbing, electrical, and gas that comes up alongside it, and the bathroom might maybe in the middle associated with that. So again, the elevator shaft could be in the center. This is, I guess, approximately midday light on a winter day, very low. And this would be the lowest livable story with the basement underneath it with the same basically dimensions, but coming out further. Another option for the upstairs would give it less usable space, but there might be too much usable space already, is to have a drop this, so this is less than standing height here, and then have a row of windows up here. So this would come up over the windows, and then there'd be a row of windows there. Some usable space here. This is approximately, well, you can see this is approximately standing height, or 8 or 10, this is 9 feet, I think, roughly. So you'd have standing height to about maybe 2/3 of the space. So that's another option, and now that I've built it, I think I like it better.